So when I started my career about 10 years ago, I had options to go into various fields, but I picked this profession and I picked this sector because I knew that the future of the country can only be transformed through education and literacy. So, just to talk a bit about the day, it's the International Literacy Day today, and the importance of education, we all know, is paramount. And what does education basically teach you? Education leads you and teaches you to live a successful life. It prepares you for life's challenges. And some people in our society, they don't maybe believe in education, people in backward rural areas, and they see why are our kids being taught comprehension, or why are they taught math, and why are they taught other stuff like essay writing. And I see even students ask this question in classrooms, and even sometimes teachers do not have any response. But we must all know that education polishes you, refines you. The purpose of education is to create intelligentsia in the society. Comprehension, if you study, read something, and if you're then asked to answer a few questions, it teaches you understanding. If you are taught math, it teaches you rational thinking. If you are taught creative essay writing, it teaches you problem solving skills and creativity. So we must all know that education is not something which is useless, and the power of education is something which is unlimited. Education obviously is guaranteed in the Constitution, but it is also a commandment of Allah. And Allah says in the Quran, Iqra bismi rabbikal lazi khalaq. So it is a commandment of Allah that we must all gain education. It is then also in the Constitution. But another idea that we must all know is of self-improvement. And Allah also says in the Quran, Qad aflaha man zakkaha. And this concept of tazkiyah, self-improvement, and we have Japanese friends sitting here, so they have a concept called Kaizen. And Kaizen is basically continuous improvement. And we must all acknowledge this idea that the day we stop learning, the day we stop improving, that is the day of our actual death. So if we see in society, in Pakistan we have about 25 million people who haven't gone to school, who are out of school. They are kids, young children spread all across the country. So what future obviously we are, let's say, creating if we are not giving them any education, if they are not learning, if their brains are not being empowered, if they are not given the knowledge, the skill and competence and attitude to succeed in life, to deal with life's challenges, to understand the world. So this is something which this department has taken up, and I'm very pleased to know that in Punjab government, I was slightly aware of this department, but I wasn't fully aware of the department and its achievements, and I'm very pleased to know the success and the accomplishments the department has achieved, and I think it deserves a huge round of applause. So the information that is given to me, it says that 4.3 million children have been taught by the department. So this is a huge force, this is a huge potential. And if we look at the future of the country, we talked about working age population, and Pakistan in 10-15 years time will have the world's third largest working age population. And we know that if they have the knowledge and the skills and the competence, then Pakistan will become the human resource factory of the world. And the Honorable Secretary said the education sector does not provide any skills. So I would like to very, honorably disagree with it. We must first know what is the concept of knowledge, and we must know what is the concept of skill, and we must know what is the concept of competence. So knowledge is basically knowing something. If you know something, that means you have knowledge about something. What is skill? Skill is application of that knowledge. If you know something and you know how to apply it, that is a skill. And mastery of skill requires one thing which you cannot buy. There is no injection. If you give it to someone, he will have it. There is no pill. If you take it, you will have it. And that is experience and continuous application of that skill. So if we have someone who is just recently come out of any institution, education institution, and if we expect them to be at the same level as someone who has 5 years experience in application of that knowledge, that skill, then obviously we are having too high expectations. So as an educationist, someone who in his personal capacity is educating 100,000 students in 95 cities, I would like to just share my version. Then we also talk about another thing in society, and that is unemployment. We see that in Pakistan there are about 4 to 6 million people who are unemployed. And then our honorable friend from JICA spoke about the growth in population. The growth rate is about 2.2, 2.5%. So that is also something which is, we need to be cognizant of this fact. But unemployment rate is linked to your economy. So if your economy grows at 6%, 8%, 7%, then you will have an abundance of jobs. And you will have more jobs than you have people. And if, let's say, the global economy today is contracting, if the biggest economic superpowers are going into recession, if the GDP, global GDP has a negative growth, then obviously the people who are already employed, they will also be worrying about their jobs. So this is also another concept that we need to see. And as educationists, we need to plan ahead of the curve. So whatever level we are teaching our students, I say this often and I think about it, that let's say someone who graduates out of school today, if they are 18 and if they're supposed to retire by the age of 60, so that is a 42-year span. Today, let's say 2023, you add 42 years, 2065. So anyone who comes out of school today will retire by the year 2065. So as people, as public policy, people in public policy, as educators, as teachers, as students also, everyone needs to think that the knowledge, the skill, the curriculum, the planning, is it up to the level that it prepares today's generation to last and be prepared for the world of tomorrow? And obviously some people do think of all these concepts, they are not new, but I think this is something we need to be reminded of on a daily basis, that this is a responsibility. People have given you responsibility of their future generation, of their future family, their future family reputation also depends on their future generation. And the country's reputation and the country's future also depends on the future generation of Pakistan. So this is the most important sector area that we should have focus on. Another thing that I usually think about, and when we talk to educationists, and there are dozens and dozens and some very well reputed, experienced educationists in the room, and that is creating this idea, giving this thought, leaving this idea in the learner's mind that they should learn to learn. And they should not learn to just pass the exam, and they should not learn to get a degree. If you go to any, let's say, education institution, most of the students globally, they study for their exams. They don't study to get knowledge. They don't study to educate themselves. And I see that on the other side, there is also this concept amongst teachers and educators that they also focus on the passing rate. That my passing rate is here and yours is here, so I am better than you. And so this culture also, and this ideology and philosophy needs to be changed. And we should focus on the learner's success. I will give you a personal example. I think last year I wanted to learn calligraphy, and I hired someone who was a master calligrapher, and we started with few lessons. So he said we will start with the alphabets first, and we started with Alif, which is the first letter alphabet in the Arabic language and also in Urdu. So we were practicing Alif for about 2 weeks time. And after 2 weeks had passed, I told him, we have done Alif for about 2 weeks, now we should start Be, because there are many other alphabets and letters after this also, and then we have to go on to words, and then we have to go on to sentences. So he said, this is not your school or university. I will not give you Be until you perfect Alif. And he said, even if it takes 2 years, I will keep you at Alif. And look at the education system of today. In 4 weeks, you have this mid-term and a final term and annual system and semester system. What is this? Where is this leading us? Lastly, I just want to focus on something which is a current issue, and that is, you have the knowledge, you have the skill, and let's say you also develop competence, but the main thing is the attitude. And if you have the right attitude, if you are ethical, if you have the right values, only then you will succeed. And success is not only, in my opinion, in this world, it is also in the hereafter. But the main thing that will drive you is attitude. And currently I see that in our country there are people who are prophets of doom. And they are saying that the country is done and dusted, there is no future. It is all unfound and non-factual. A country with 240 million people, a country with glaciers starting from the Hindu Kush, the Himalaya and the Karakoram ranges to the plains of Punjab, the minerals we have in the salt range and the rivers that we have and the deep port that we have, the warm waters that we have. Pakistan is a country with huge potential, and there is no power on earth that can undo this great nation. So we need to have the right attitude, and our youth also needs to have this idea, this vision that in Pakistan, and now I see even people in the middle ages have started to worry. So I want to tell them that Pakistan is a country with a very bright future. And this is a country where you can achieve anything. And this is a country where you can be anyone you want to. There is unlimitless potential in this God-given, the treasures that we have. I was in Varcha. Varcha is a mine, salt mine in the salt ranges in Punjab. And the size of the deposit there is about 2 billion tons. The value of the salt, if you take it at the mid-level, is about 5,000, 6,000 rupees a ton. I'm talking about the Himalayan pink salt. 6,000 rupees in today's currency is about $20. I went on Amazon and I typed Himalayan pink salt. Can you imagine 1 kg of Himalayan pink salt was being sold for $30, and you can get a ton for $20 here. So if you multiply $20 with the size of the deposit, you will get an evaluation of about $4 billion. And if you multiply that with the retail value, you will get an amount which is in the tens and tens of billions of dollars. So how can a country which has all the assets in the world, we are soon going to be the second largest producer of copper, with Reko, with Sendik, with other deposits in Chaghi. Pakistan will soon be the second largest producer of copper. And the world, we all know, is moving towards electrification. It's moving towards technology. It has moved towards datization. And for that, you need wires, you need hardware. For electric vehicles, you need copper. For everything, any infrastructure you lay, you need copper. So Pakistan will soon be the second largest producer of copper. We have the second largest deposit of salt in the world. We are the fourth largest producer of milk. I can keep talking and talking and talking, and as the Minister of Livestock, I can also say we can talk till the cows come home. But I know your time is precious, and I would like to thank the department for inviting me today, and I'm very pleased to see the progress and the allowance that you have requested for our officers. Obviously, I will talk to the Chief Minister. If you can send me some information, we will discuss it in the cabinet. And thank you very much for having me today. Have a good day. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.